Welcome back. We continue our coverage of the conflict that's ongoing in the Middle East, and the United Nations has now decided to respond to the turn of events. The UN nuclear watchdog chief, Rafael Grossi, has said that there was absolutely no indication that Iran's nuclear facilities had been damaged in the strikes by Israel and the United States. He said, we have no indication that any of Iran's nuclear installations have been damaged or hit. Let me, in fact, get a word in from Mr. Bochnik Chen. Sir, was this a matter of surprise at all? Because this time round, the targets on the part of US as well as Israel is the Iranian leadership, not so much the nuclear facilities which had already been targeted last year.
That's correct. Apparently, the main Iranian facilities handling the nuclear program were hit, and in a way that no uranium enrichment was conducted since that attack on June 2025. The only point of concern is the remaining 400 or so kilogram of enriched uranium, which is buried somewhere in one of the sites that was bombarded, and there is no access to reaching that quantity of uranium. Anyway, I believe and I estimate that the US and Israel will make an effort to target again those sites in order to avoid the Iranians to try to recover them, and if possible to find out what happened with this uranium which was enriched to the level of 60 degrees. This will be an achievement. But for that, we need the IAEA to handle this activity. However, Israel is now, and the US are focusing on the ballistic missiles threat, in which actually there are lots of achievements, including the B-2, US B-2 bombarding underground stockpiles of the SSMs.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
So that the Iranian ballistic missile threat has been reduced to a stage that cannot really threaten the Israeli, I would say, home front.
Right, and also viewers, we've got some visuals coming in from northern UAE. Powerful explosions reported in Ras Al Khaimah, northern UAE, and these are the visuals that you can see on your screens right now. These are fresh visuals that we have got at this point in time.
General Dhillon, how do you see this escalation on the part of Iran directly attacking Aramco, which is a wholly Saudi Arabian state asset? Also, of course, as Hina said, 550,000 barrels per day of oil as its capacity.
See, given the history of this region, there was never any love lost between Iran and Saudi Arabia because of Abrahamic Accords and other things. And now what Iran is doing is, Iran is hitting the Gulf countries, the GCC, directly, basically to get them into the conflict. And secondly, it is hitting the oil and the energy assets in the region, and even the Strait of Hormuz blockade is a possibility. That would impact the whole world. Now, once it impacts the whole world and all the GCC countries, then what Iran, in my opinion, what Iran is feeling is, everyone will turn around and tell the USA and Israel to calm it down and let's talk peace. But I don't see it going that way. I think USA and Israel will make sure Israel's military war-fighting capability is decimated before any peace is sought.
Okay. Sir, stay on with us. More breaking inputs coming. We have a reaction coming in from France. France, in fact, has said it is ready to participate in the defense of Gulf countries. This is what AFP is reporting right now. It's a very important statement that has come in. French support there for Gulf countries, that's on the table. And Dr. Raphael George, what is your first reaction to this statement that has come? France helping the Gulf countries in what is happening right now?
Well, in fact, France declared yesterday of its intention to get involved. However, I doubt their capabilities to, I would say, to affect the ongoing situation. It's mostly declarative rather than operational. Anyhow, it is clear that Macron has an interest to show that he's not indifferent to what is going on in the area. And of course, the development of this morning, the attack on the Aramco refinery at Ras Tanura, is a major development that might lead to another escalation in the war. By the way, I have predicted that yesterday in one of the panels I participated. Besides Macron, there was also a statement by the British Prime Minister last night after a British airfield in Cyprus was attacked by Iran, and also this morning another drone attacked the Akrotiri airfield. It means that Britain itself is committed to show some solidarity with the Gulf Emirates and maybe to send some vessels to the eastern part of the Mediterranean. I don't foresee a real active involvement of France, neither Britain, in this conflict for the time being.
News coming in of attacks by Iran in Israel in the Bet Shemesh area. Now, this was in response to an attack by the IDF, and the Iranians ended up firing with a missile with a half-ton warhead at the Bet Shemesh area. This happened late last evening, and the visuals of that attack have been accessed. Remember, at least 9 people were killed in the Bet Shemesh area. Anthony Albanese has responded to the turn of events in Iran and the rest of the Middle East. He says Australia stands with the people of Iran in their struggle against an oppressive regime. So this is, of course, a reference to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and the ruling dispensation there. Well, let me get a word in from Mr. Rafael as well. Mr. Rafael, is this another sign that Iran is getting increasingly isolated? Because if people are not condemning, or people are indeed condemning an oppressive regime in Iran, which is the ruling dispensation, it's an indirect way of saying we don't really mind about what Israel and America have done in Iran.
That's correct. Iran is now acting in a desperate way of behaving. Even the attack on the oil facilities in Saudi Arabia is a desperate step forward to escalation. However, I think that Iran is losing ground with her potential neighbors or friends, namely the Gulf Emirates, and this means that what's going on is that the regime is about to lose ground, and possibly the public, the people, are expected to go out to the streets